I was born in North London, in the London borough of Hackney, and when I was 1 year old, I was given away for adoption. I always call myself the original GI story because it seems my father was a GI, and I was born in 1946, so I think I was the celebration of VE Day, Victory Day. I think that's when I must have been conceived because of the date I was born. Anyway, when I was 1 year old, I was given away for adoption. And I remember that I never left the house. I always wanted to listen to the BBC and listen to anything that was on the BBC, and there was all kinds of nice programs on that I would listen to. Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, was one of my favorites. Little Weed was one of my favorite characters, Weed. And I would just sit there and listen all day long, and then I had to go to school, and then I found out that I didn't speak correctly for the area I was living in. I had a BBC accent. I didn't have a Cockney accent. I tried very hard to change my accent because obviously I was teased a lot having this BBC accent, but it was no getting rid of the accent as much as I tried. Finally, when I left school, this accent got me all these high-paying jobs. And I could socialize, but I couldn't bring people back to where I lived in my council flat. We'd finally got a council flat. I couldn't bring people back because they obviously thought I lived on the other side of town. But I had a great time. My accent got me into great circles of first day Ascot and things like that, and high-paying jobs. But it was totally out of sync with who I was and where I was living. I always corrected them, but they had a hard time believing it. I always put my correct address down. I always put everything down, but somehow or other my accent was what they went with, and everything else just didn't get much focus. So it was rather funny. I didn't feel a fraud. I would have liked to have been able to speak Cockney when I was a kid, but once I got high-paying jobs, I kind of got over that. And another thing about my accent was, and I never realized it till I was much older and an adult and living abroad, and an American asked me, I was living in the States, and an American asked me, "Oh, you must get away with a lot with that upper British accent of yours." And I said, "Oh no, in England I can boss people around all the time with this." I didn't even realize it, but I was used to telling people what to do, and they automatically did it, and I assumed that everybody would. Both my friends will tell you, and they were friends with me since they were 7 years old. They always say, "Oh, Brenda, you're bossy." Because people did what I said because of this accent. So when I came to America, it wasn't, I didn't feel that anybody was treating me special because I had an accent. In England is where I got treated special.